Hello, world. It's John Pinto, your roving realtor, bon vivant, video blogger. And guess what? I am here at Inglenook Winery again with one of my favorite people, Damon Lessler, former assistant baseball coach at Cal, all things baseball. How are you, Damon?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, John.
Very
pretty nice setting. I appreciate when you bring me here.
Very good, very good. So we could go a lot of different directions. You and I are both big baseball fans.
No doubt.
You went slightly further in baseball than I did. My career kind of ended at the Catholic Youth Organization in Brooklyn.
Probably produced more big leaguers than other Catholic youth organizations.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, I bet.
Is that so?
Yeah.
So where did you play high school baseball?
Castro Valley High School in the East Bay. Yep, Castro Valley High School. It's it's between San Ramon and Hayward. We had some pretty good players.
Very good. Now I can't get past a baseball conversation without talking statistics.
Okay.
So before we get into youth baseball, let's talk a little bit about the history of Damon Lessler.
Okay.
Oh, very good. Oh, we can almost see you. We are a little lighting challenged here.
I can't see it, so I feel fine.
Yeah. So, when you were playing for Castro Valley, did you play 4 or 3 years varsity, or did you play freshman, junior varsity? How did that go?
I think, let's see, 3+, almost 4 years of varsity. I think
Okay.
As a freshman, I think I got moved up, and you know how it is. But I played 3+ years with them. So
And what year did you get the most ABs?
either my junior or my senior year. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean somewhere in there, I would say.
All right. So of those 2 years,
Yeah.
which year did you have a better statistical year?
I think my senior year, but my junior year was still pretty good.
Oh, do you remember any of your stats?
Oh yeah, I do. I remember.
Oh, good. Lay them on me.
Yeah,
I'm all about the stats.
I mean, you know, I think it was about 400 batting average my last year, which was my first time that I started to hit left-handed. So I felt pretty good about that. You know, and then, but you remember back in those types of things, there was the league stats and then the overall stats and everything like that. But, you know, I mean, I feel like, and if you're going to go on in baseball, probably, especially at the high school level, you should be hitting somewhere between 350 and 450, I would guess, if you're really going to be a guy. You know, and that was a pretty competitive league. It wasn't like the West Catholic League in, you know, in like the South Bay Peninsula area, but we were pretty good, and it ended up good for me.
And how many games did you play that year?
You know, I think we only got in, you know, back then, this is going back about 15, 17 years, 25 games maxed, maybe less.
Okay, help me out here because I'm still on my stats run here.
Yeah.
So how many runs did you score that year? Do you
Shoot,
know?
I wouldn't even be able to tell you. We'd have to go back and look in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
But I'm figuring you
Yeah.
got a lot of doubles and triples, an occasional home run. You were batting at the top of the lineup,
Yep.
first or second.
Yep, first. I think most of the time in high school, I usually batted first my junior and senior year, and other spots second, you know, maybe ninth when I was a freshman or sophomore with the big boys. You know.
Did you walk more than you strike out?
I would have to look, but I would bet in high school.
I would bet too.
Yeah,
I would bet too.
In high school, yeah. And then, you know, as we went on, it got a little more challenging. But
I understand.
But for sure.
That's why I finished in CYO.
Yeah.
I understand.
Your baseball acumen is pretty good from all the side conversations we've had. So
then where did you play in college?
in college, shoot, I was a bounce around, but I had dreams to go Division I, and I was getting recruited. But back then, we had something called draft and follow, and we were just kind of coming out of that. And I played it instead of kind of going to like the San Jose States. I wanted to play at Cal. It wasn't working out for me to really get in there and really get it done right with a scholarship and the whole package. I took this little scholarship to go to Mesa Community College in Arizona, and honestly, it was the best thing I ever did.
Well, that's a baseball monster school, right?
It is, and on that team, I mean, the majority of the kids went on to play Division I or sign professional contracts. So it was a great choice. It's not like from a macro level, it's not a real sexy choice to go to junior college, but it was the best thing I ever did. Mm-hmm. I wasn't quite tooled out and physically, I'm not a real big guy, but I wasn't physically like your prototypical Division I recruit at the time. Best decision I ever made. Learned the game more, became more physical, got in the weight room, got around other great players, and shoot, that set off a firestorm of travel.
So so what college, university did you finish your university baseball career with?
So I went around. Like, if you were to ever look at my bio, it's crazy because I went I went 1 year at Sonoma State, okay, which is a Division II, and incidentally on that team, and Sonoma State's right over in Rohnert Park. Mm-hmm. We had 4 kids drafted in the top 10 rounds off that. 2 of them made it to the big leagues, believe it or not, at Division II baseball. And back then, the way things were, I mean, it was competitive, and you get out there on the summer scene, and I was doing pretty good, and things were okay at Sonoma. It was a great experience. It was a great experience, and I appreciate the time that I had there. And then I ended up taking a scholarship to go to school in Mississippi, and that kicked off some more travel, because really Sonoma was kind of coming back home to get back towards the Bay Area.
Which university in Mississippi?
So I started, and I played 1 year at Mississippi Valley State, which is the alma mater of Jerry Rice, in a very small town in the Delta of Mississippi. And there was about 8 kids from California that went there with me. A couple of them were already there, and I played summer baseball, and we played summer baseball somewhere in the Midwest, and I mean, these guys kind of convinced me. They got their coach on the phone. They paid for everything. I remember the coach faxed me the schedule and the scholarship, and I was kind of like, I showed it to my father, and he said, you know what, this is something you should do. You need to get this, make sure this is all in writing and everything. And so I took it and ended up going there for 1 year, and it was a good decision. It was quite an experience, I'll tell you that.
So let's fast forward.
Yeah.
You recently were assistant baseball coach at UC Berkeley, aka Cal.
Correct.
And I know you've been doing some part-time work with youth baseball. So let's shift into youth baseball. First of all, when does the season start and end for youth baseball?
I'm not sure that it does. I mean, in the current state of youth baseball, I mean, for example, after the pandemic, when the pandemic really got going, and I kind of transitioned a little bit from coaching at Cal, everything shut down everywhere. Well, I mean, it seems to me that, and people kind of started calling me about helping with their youth. I mean, they had fall baseball going on in full swing, which is really kind of, and here we are, on the 15th, I think, of November, and they're just kind of slowing down. There's going to be some side workouts that I think that some of those guys do, but the fall baseball was full on. And then, when you talk youth baseball, let's say you're going the high school ages, if the world's normal, you've got high school baseball, right? So high school baseball is basically, January, February, probably February into, the early spring, and they're playing anywhere, depends on the team, but they're playing anywhere from 20 to 40 games, depending on where you're at, what your weather's like, and everything like that.
So there's always an opportunity to practice and hone your skills.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with some of the basics.
Yeah, sure.
Let's start with some of the basics. I go to farmers market. I see a lot of mothers with little kids.
Yeah.
And right, wrong, and different. My advice always for them is to have their kids play basketball and baseball and avoid football and soccer.
Okay.
Because I do not like the head trauma risk with soccer and football.
Yeah.
And I feel that basketball and baseball pretty much has that under control. Now, that is just my own intuitive opinion. It's not based in any facts. What's your professional opinion on baseball as a sport versus basketball, soccer, and football vis-a-vis head injury?
Yeah. I mean, you could get hit in the head with a baseball. You could, you could get hit in the head with a bat or something nutty. But I mean, overall, yeah, football, and I get it with the soccer. You're talking about the head.
Well, you get all those minor impacts that add up to a major impact after playing for 6 years.
Yeah, and people running at each other. You catch a knee and you fall down. You hit somebody else's knee. I get it. Baseball, not so much. Baseball is much more of a. If you're going to get injured in baseball, it's going to be your elbow. It's going to be your shoulder. you know, it's going to be something that you do when you're diving or sliding on a one-off. But football, especially tackle football, you know, at a young age, you know, you get your bell rung pretty good and go. So, I mean, comparatively, I totally agree. Basketball, awesome for hand-eye coordination, mobility, speed, you know, and all those four sports that you listed are. And me personally, recruiting kids, if a kid was to tell me that, hey, and this is interesting how they, you know, sometimes kids are sheepish to tell you that they also play football, but sometimes they're not. But the reason that they are to say that they play football is because they think that, you know, you're not as dedicated to baseball or you're going to get hurt or something like that. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's actually a bonus. I mean, I don't want you to get hurt, but it's a bonus because I'm thinking that you're going to be more athletic. I mean, I personally, from a traditional standpoint, would love the kids that played baseball, basketball, and football, or anything else that's going to help your strength and your speed and stability. I mean, I think I played football at least the first, if not the first 2 years of my high school career. And when I got out to the baseball field, you feel like you're fast because you take off those pads and you put on spikes, mm-hmm. you know, instead of those football cleats. And you feel like you can steal bases and you can run.
It's like swinging a bat with a donut on it.
Totally.
It feels light.
Yeah.
All right, so let's fast forward to everybody's dream and aspiration.
Yeah.
Signing a major league contract.
Okay.
So we can go in a couple of different directions on that.
Yeah.
First of all, if you have a stage mom or stage dad, you know, a stage mom, a stage dad.
Sure.
You know, they're queuing the kid up for Broadway or singing,
sure.
or in this case, baseball.
Mm-hmm.
What is the aspirational position for making it to the bigs, getting contracts, mm-hmm. and are you a lefty or are you a righty?
Yeah, okay. So this is, no, that's a good question, and for sure those aspirations are there and they're big and they're real. I mean, to be frank, Major League Baseball, professional baseball has set its sights on younger players, and they pour a lot of money into the younger players, and the like, you know, the players that are 25, 27, 28, you know, they're getting funneled through the system quicker, and young kids. But to more directly answer your question and jump on there with you, I mean, that is all good and well, but that's like the 0.00 who knows what percent.
I was going to ask you that question.
And the college, I mean, I think the college thing is much more of a attainable goal. Now, it might not be for everyone, but I mean, like, say you want to play, you know, you want to be that major leaguer. Well, it probably starts with getting recruited from a college standpoint.
Okay, so I revised my question.
Okay, yeah.
For getting recruited for college. Now, we don't. Do we need to talk about getting recruited for high school, or can we go directly to getting recruited for college?
You can probably, you know, some of the college stuff, but I mean, I'd like to talk about that stuff first because really it starts at the ground level, right? I mean,
okay.
And the other thing that you need to know, if you don't already, I may have mentioned it to you in the past, but recruiting is young now. Mm-hmm. In the past, about, I would say 5 to 10 years, recruiting has gone where it used to be, say my age group, you know, people in their 25s to 35 range. Kids were getting recruited as juniors and seniors, oftentimes seniors first, more than juniors. Well, now the recruiting, and this is a one-off effect from basketball and football. Kids are getting recruited when they're sophomores and freshmen, and in some cases, like women's softball, they're committing kids as young as 7th and 8th grade. Verbal commitments, say a Power 5 school, like a Pac-12 school.
Okay,
you know.
So let me walk back the question even further.
Okay.
Okay, because I could see the focus should not be on major league level.
No.
And I'm going to think that in utero is a little too early.
Yep. Yeah.
In utero is a little too early.
It is.
Okay, so let's ask a different question, and that is, how early do you start developing kids for baseball?
Yeah.
And if you're gearing them to be recruited by high schools and colleges, in what direction would you, quote unquote, steer them?
Yeah, I would steer them in just training without being too crazy serious, and keeping your reality, you know, keeping your reality about you.
You're talking about the parents' reality.
The parents and the kids. You know,
Okay.
Well, what I like about the kids is the kids can be dreamers. They should dream. They should. But, you know, there's got to be some type of realisticness to it. What I would say is get your kids in some situation or work with somebody that is really vested in their fundamental development, right? Because what's going to end up happening is, you know, it's like saving money, right? You're trying to put a penny in the jar and add it up every day and just get better and better and better, or bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, a better skill set, a better fundamental base under you, right? And so my advice for those people who have those types of aspirations would be to get your child with, you know, whether it's with somebody or that kind of knows what they're talking about from a fundamental standpoint. And then, you know, the other thing is...
And how old are those kids?
I mean, young, you know, like just like Little League ages, you know, like Little League ages.
So
I mean,
5, 6, 7?
Yeah. I mean, and they should be having fun with it. You know, there should be just a fundamental skill set base under there. And coincidentally, in my personal opinion, they should also play basketball. They should also chuck a football in the front yard. They should do things that play ping pong, play tennis, whatever. The more well-rounded you can be. I wouldn't call it a problem, but the situation is that there's a lot of emphasis on specializing early, which is why we see a lot of shoulder and elbow injuries in younger and younger athletes, right? Because if you're specializing when you're young, you're going to be doing, you know, for example, in the fall, the winter, the spring, and the summer, you're throwing a baseball. Well, if you're, you know, it's probably not the best thing, whereas we used to have kids playing multiple sports and, you know, you're functioning other muscles. You're maybe giving your arm a little bit of a rest. If not a rest from a baseball motion, you can throw a football, which is a little bit different for a little while. It's a bit of a tangent, but what I'm saying is give your child a chance to be well-rounded. The issue, which an issue or a problem, is that it is very competitive, and there are a lot of travel, and this is travel organizations, which are great. A lot of them are great, okay? But these are organizations, and I've been affiliated with them. I've recruited for them. I played in them when I was young, but they're very structured around kind of some form of a year-round development program, which is fabulous. I'm just saying at those younger ages, I'm a big fan of the fundamental development with a well-rounded athletic, you know,
that makes
endeavor,
good sense.
You know?
Yeah, so let me ask you this question. Buster Posey is legendary.
Yeah.
What is his father used to drop golf balls down a PVC pipe?
Yeah.
And then Buster Posey had to hit them as they were coming out of the bottom of the pipe?
Like a drop drill.
Yeah, is that what it is? So at what age do you start those kind of drills with kids?
Anytime. Anytime. Anything that promotes athleticism and hand-eye coordination, you know, and then that type of thing is amazing, you know, because you're building patterns, you're building
muscle memory.
You're repping things out a little bit. I mean, because what's going to end up happening, right, during the developmental years is they're going to start getting bigger, faster, and stronger, right? And I mean, to be frank, that's kind of what we were looking for at, you know, Division I level, you know, high level Power 5 conference recruiters, is we're looking for kids that are big, fast, strong, and talented, right? Mm-hmm. Or kids that are talented that look like they could become bigger, faster, and stronger.
We're talking right. Aaron Judge.
Yeah, we are too, but I'm also talking about the really skinny kid that's a sophomore in high school that has amazing skills, and, you know, maybe the parents look like they're pretty, maybe tall or athletic or whatever, because, I mean, to be frank, people do, the recruiters do look at that type of thing. Now, it doesn't mean everything, but there's got to be a little bit of an element of projection if you're talking about recruiting, right? Mm-hmm. But, you know, here's the thing. This is the thing that kind of stinks. You can't control that, right? You can't control, like, for example, myself, I was a smaller player. By the grace of God, I just had a pretty good fundamental skill set. Baseball was my own thing. I had what I would consider to be pretty darn good work ethic, and it was a thing where I would I mean, honestly, like my friends know, I would steal your dad if he hit ground balls. I would steal your dad if he throws batting practice. And the reason that I kind of, the kids got to want it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that the kids got to want it. The parents can facilitate it. And there's so many cases out there that I've seen where the parents want it and the kids want it, which makes for a great combo. And we all know kind of the horror stories when those things maybe don't match up, so.
Yeah. So when you meet parents that want to impart to their children both the emotional, the intellectual, the competitive, the physical skills that baseball brings to the party, and I will volunteer to you as somebody who lived in the inner city, somebody who lived in a very tough neighborhood, somebody who had all kinds of bad influences available for me to partake in if I chose to. When I look back on my childhood, it was sports that saved me.
Good.
It was the commitment to the sports.
Yeah.
It was being busy with the sports. It was being focused with the sports. It was expending energy on the sports.
Yeah.
And it was not being idle.
Yeah.
Getting into trouble.
Yeah. Having something to do.
Yeah. And also the competitiveness. Because like you, I was always a smaller player.
Okay.
But I always felt, I know this is going to come as a big shock to you, that I was smarter than everybody else.
Okay.
And I would win because I would outthink them.
Yeah.
I would exploit their weaknesses and use whatever tools I had available.
Yeah.
You don't want to play tennis with me. Oh, God. I am not going to. I'm a very marginal C player.
Yeah.
But my whole approach is keep it in bounds and let the other guy hit the the unforced error.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Got it, yeah.
So all that said, when somebody approaches you and wants to retain your services to help their children develop all those many skills that go way above and beyond the actual sport itself, how does that relationship unfold?
Yeah. Well, okay, first of all, to your initial point, sports offers an outlet, right? Sports is cool for the same reasons it's been cool for 100 years, maybe hundreds of years, thousands of years. I mean, it's something for people to do. It can help with your personal development. It can help with your as an outlet. It can help, with your confidence. It's something that someone can do. So yeah, but in to address your question about when someone approaches me, and it happens a lot, and I just made kind of a transition from basically being a professional baseball coach, because that's what I was doing. I mean, I was coaching at University of California, where it's a full-time job. You're with them, and now been basically kind of like a hired gun, if you will, for a bunch of different youth travel teams, and worked one-on-one with a bunch of folks. I mean, when you do get the opportunity to do that, you invest in that young person's life, and you start to follow them. And I mean, my approach to that is, hey, you have a field, let's meet at the field and basically lay the groundwork, with a bunch of fundamentals to help lay that next layer that may help them or may not, because let's face it doesn't happen for everybody.
So we could certainly go down the rabbit hole of ground ball drills, fly ball drills, batting drills, base running drills. But what do you impart to the kids in terms of the mental game and the commitment? Because those are values that will stay with them forever, even outside of baseball. Yeah. So what do you emphasize to those kids in training?
That's good. That's a good question. A lot. I mean, the mental game in any sport. I don't know if you saw the Masters is on today. I mean, in golf, it's a big deal in golf. I mean, you're going to hit a bad shot. In baseball, I got news for you. You're going to strike out once in a while, even though I hate strikeouts personally, even though we know strikeouts are way up in Major League Baseball the last bunch of years. But basically, failure is a big part of the statistics of baseball. I mean, if you look at it, there's the generic 7 out of 10, the 7 out of 10, you know what I mean? You bat 300, you're an all-star.
Learn, put it behind you.
Yep.
Focus.
Yep.
Would you say that's the message?
I would, yeah. And you have to be prepared, or you have to try to prepare yourself for when adversity strikes. You know, because it's not if, but when. It's not if you make an error, it's when. It's not if you strike out, it's when. You know, I mean, and what can happen, and it's happened to me. I mean, shoot, I played until I think I played until I was 27 years old, okay, a baseball. I mean, I made a lot of mistakes in baseball. And sometimes it would have been, you know, offensive, defense, whatever it is, but it's going to happen. And there's times when I remember dealing with it in a poor manner that led me down, just like you mentioned it a minute ago, a rabbit hole. And then you go bad for, you know, maybe not just one game, but 3 games. Or there's times when you just kind of, you know, just as we say in baseball, flush it or move on. Or there's a lot of stuff that's been. There's a legendary guy by the name of Ken Revisa, and he wrote, you know, a number of different books. He's a professor at Cal State Fullerton and dealt with psychology. And I mean, the saying that we all use is, "So what? Next pitch." You know what I mean? Because, you know, say for example you're a pitcher and you just miss by 5 feet on a pitch that's just terrible. Well, I mean, you got to go to the next pitch, and you have no other choice otherwise, other than just walking off the field. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's a big part of it, and I think that there's thousands of different ways as a coach that you can impart that information on them. Here's the hard thing. It's easy to tell someone that you need to be prepared for this. But as any of us that have actually done it know, it's really, really hard to actually do it. So I'm sympathetic, empathetic, whatever you want to say, to anyone who, you know, fails at the game of baseball. You know, at least from a performance standpoint. Now, if you don't try, if you've not got effort, if you've got a bad attitude, I don't know that I can deal with that. I don't have much regard for it. But, with regard to the aspect of the challenge of baseball and how hard it is, you know, I think there's a lot of things you can do. And to kind of show you that this is a real thing, and you brought it up, but there's a lot of people that are, it's literally an industry now of the mental game of baseball, the psychological aspects of it, and how to basically be more, you know, basically work out mentally, you know. And I mean, if you look in football, Russell Wilson and all those guys with the Seahawks, there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a guy named Michael Gervais with a podcast that he kicks butt. And to be honest with you, you know, some of these people that we've dealt with over the past, I've been able to deal with over the past 10 years, there's multi-million-dollar business people that deal with this type of stuff too. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I definitely would encourage any parents that are listening, whether they're parents of sons or daughters, to get their kids involved in organized sports at an early age, and certainly baseball is one of my favorites. You know, being an inner city kid, hoops is number one. Okay. Because with hoops, all you need to do is lace up your sneakers and find a court and hope somebody's got a basketball. Sure. With baseball, there's a lot more equipment involved.
There is.
There's a lot more space involved.
There is. And that's why baseball's baseball has some different aspects to it than hoops, or even soccer. I mean, why do you think soccer is probably the most popular game around the world?
Because people put on a pair of shoes and get a ball and take an open space and start kicking the ball.
And that's it. That's it. Baseball, especially in America. I mean, baseball, you're going to have to go to a specific place to play baseball, organized-wise. I mean, you can play in your front yard, but you got to have a glove, you got to have a bat, you got to have, you know, if it's going to be organized, you know.
Let me ask you a crazy question.
Okay.
We used to play all kinds of ball.
Yeah.
We used to play wiffle ball.
Awesome.
Fist ball.
Yeah.
Punch ball.
Yeah.
Slap ball.
Yeah.
Stoop ball. Handball.
Yeah.
Stick ball.
Love it.
Stick ball. Stick ball. You got a broom.
Best. That's probably the best one.
You got a broomstick, and you got a white pimple ball.
Yeah.
You throw a curve ball.
Yeah.
Or even worse.
Yeah.
A two-fingered fastball that's sailing up.
Yeah.
I don't even know how the heck we hit that ball with a broomstick, but we did it.
Yeah, it's good.
What do you think of that?
I think that's awesome. I wish more kids more kids across America would do that at this day and time. You know, especially because strikeouts. You know, and hey, I mean, you know, in Major League Baseball, it comes down to where they're looking for power. But I mean, to your point about that, that's all about some of the things I talked about 5-10 minutes ago: hand-eye coordination.
So let me talk about something crazy.
Yeah.
How practical is it if you are space confined or space limited to practice your baseball skills with a wiffle ball bat and a wiffle ball?
You can do it.
You can do it?
Why can't you do it?
Yeah.
I mean, all you need is another person.
Yeah.
And even if you're alone, not to change the subject from your wiffle ball,
Yeah.
but you can play wall ball. You can, I mean, with the advent of the internet, you can look at 100 different things that you can do for footwork or running or, heck, I mean, if you got a ball and a bat or even just a sunflower seeds and a stick and a broomstick, I mean, you can throw them. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I was in my front yard just swinging a baseball bat. Anybody would tell you that in our neighborhood.
That's right. What the hell were you doing the other day? Flipping your keys up behind your back and catching them?
I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I mean, but that's the spirit of athletics and baseball in particular, is that, it's like I joke, maybe I've got ADD, maybe I don't, but I always want to play catch. I always want to, swing a baseball bat and hit an implement with the bat.
Right. Now, I will offer that is not an idle diversion.
Okay.
Because it's an activity that's in alignment with your desire to improve your skill set.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, if you want to be good at something, you got to practice. It just so happens that it's fun for me, and so many of the kids that I've been able to work with and so many of the players, I mean, if you were to go to a Major League Baseball game, even where the players are, say, between the ages of 21 and 40, these dudes are having fun. I mean, they say play ball, don't work ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's fun. And shoot, I bet you if they didn't play 162 games straight, no pandemic, they're going to be throwing a baseball, playing catch with somebody. Yeah,
it is play ball. It isn't work ball. But I got to tell you, when I play ball,
yeah,
it was like life and death. it was life and death.
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was like, I am not going to lose.
Yeah.
Now you have to follow that up.
That's the competitive aspect to it.
Yeah, and the competitive aspect comes in very, very handy, because no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're facing, as you mentioned, if you have a bad experience with baseball, you can either fold, or you could say, okay, what's next? What do I have to do?
Totally.
So for the parents living, watching out there, at what age for their kids should they be mindful to engage somebody like you and start getting those kids interested and building their skill set?
Oh, developmental years. So, I would say anytime really, but you want to make sure that you have a realistic barometer about that. So
expectations.
I would say, if you're talking about like one-on-one individual training, I mean maybe starting as young as 10 or 11 or 12, but just like in anything, right? I mean, it could be piano lessons, it could be ballet lessons. I mean, when do they start kids? They do start them young. I mean, so if you're looking for like a fundamental base, could be as young as 8 or 9 or 10.
Very good. Now, do you have any kind of a website or anything on youth baseball?
I don't currently. I know somebody made one for me about 10 or 12 years ago, but I haven't. I mean, I've been coaching.
You've been too busy doing.
Yeah. I mean, a full-time job. I mean, literally, I was fortunate to coach in the Pac-12 and a number of other great conferences at Division I. I mean, over 10 years. So when you're a college coach, you kind of have that built in, because you have the batting cages, you have the field, you have the facilities, you have everything, with my deal.
That is nice.
It is nice. It is nice. I mean, it's a means by which to operate, in a fun and quality environment. So I think that, to answer your question now, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I've been doing has been with some of these kind of, I guess they call themselves like elite travel organizations, and they're good. I mean, a lot of the kids that we funnel through there, or have been funneling through there, go to Division I's, and sometimes they get drafted. Some of them have even reached the major leagues,
Very good. Well, I know how people can reach you.
Yeah.
Because they can reach me.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm with your dad on a semi-regular basis, drinking Lagavulin 16 and smoking a cigar. and now you're our neighbor.
Yeah.
We've got you domesticated and house trained.
Yeah, thank you.
You got your own house.
Yeah, yep. I'm enjoying the house, John. Thanks for helping me with that.
You're not too far away.
No.
You're close.
Yep. No, I appreciate it. I mean, yeah, the baseball aspect of it has been amazing. So, and the relationship with you has been great. So thanks for helping me out.
It's my pleasure. Yeah. And for those parents that are watching that want to help their kids prosper and prevail, and for those kids that have a dream that they want to be excellent competitive baseball players, what parting words to the wise would you have to them?
I would say invest in yourself, in your game, day by day, slowly. It's like putting a penny in a piggy bank, right? It's like putting a penny in a piggy bank. You got to just add it up. You got to just add it up a little bit each day. You know, there's all types of crazy slogans out there, and there's good ones. Simple, get 1% better every day. You know, get with people that can make you better. Get with people that can help you focus on the fundamentals. You know, because I would say this, simplicity matters, right? Because I see a lot of kids where they're maybe trying to be really flashy with the glove or flashy with the bat, whatever it would be, you know, whether that's a big leg kick or something crazy. And simplicity matters. Play catch, make contact, have a compact swing. I could go on forever on these basic fundamentals, but those would be pieces of my advice. And then, I mean, we'd be remiss, and I know maybe we're talking to young kids, I don't know. It could scan the game, but you got to put yourself in an academic position for success, because you're one broken arm, one broken leg away, one Tommy John surgery away from never playing baseball again, you know. So. Yeah,
well, Jermaine, to your point of keeping it simple, you know, when I was a kid, there was a lot of spectacular players. There was Maury Wills, Willie Davis, Mickey Mantle, Roberto Clemente, Willie Mays. But the guy that I fashioned my game after was Al Kaline.
Nice.
Al Kaline was very unspectacular,
with power,
but solid.
Yeah.
He was rock solid.
Yeah, on base percentage.
That's right. So, so it's always good getting together with you, especially when we get together at Inglenook Winery.
Yeah.
Drinking. Today we have 2012 Cabernet Sauvignon that we are drinking. And over Damon's right-hand shoulder is the reproduction of the Luxembourg Gardens in Paris. So if you need any more information on youth baseball, if you have any grandchildren, children, or you yourself are an aspiring baseball player, feel free to message me. I'll hook you up with Damon, and he'll help you develop a skill set that will not only help you in baseball, but help you in life, business, family, and relationships indefinitely, and that will go on for your entire life. So thank you, Damon, for subjecting yourself to a Pinto video interview.
My pleasure, John. I really appreciate your confidence in me. Thanks.
You're welcome. Bye, all.